Lewis, welcome to the Mercedes-Benz Star Lounge at Melbourne Park. It's great to have you back. What have you been up to since you arrived in Oz?
I got here on Wednesday night.
Yeah?
And I went to New Zealand before, which was pretty spectacular. Just seeing the South Island particularly was beautiful. And then just came here. I feel like I'm getting a bit of the accent when I come out here.
You are, just a touch.
A bit like a New Zealander.
Just a touch.
Sorry, an Australian.
Better an Aussie than a New Zealand accent, though.
Yeah. Are there many Kiwis here?
Bit of both.
I don't know. It sounds the same to me. Sorry.
It's all right. It's me that'll get attacked.
But yeah, otherwise just obviously been working. You know, started on Thursday. Lots of media, as always.
Seen a bit, yeah.
Yeah, and stay in the same hotel as I always do. Pretty much eat in the same restaurant as I always do because the food's really good. I've been for a good couple of runs down the river.
Yep.
So I'm enjoying it.
It's good. Weather's pretty cool.
Yeah, what's that about? Isn't it supposed to be summer here?
Well, tomorrow perhaps.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah, it's Melbourne.
Really?
It could be
the
summer.
first day was really nice, but then the last couple of days. I mean, yesterday was incredibly difficult on track. It's raining on one corner and then dry on the other, which. I mean, for those of you perhaps that don't know, when you're driving and you're driving through going down the straight, the rain's hitting your visor, and it might be just spitting, but it feels like it's torrential rain on your visor because you're obviously going through it. And so, one lap you might arrive at the corner and you've taken it easy and it's completely dry, and then the next time you think, oh, it's going to be fine, and it's raining exactly the same on your visor, but it's completely drenched. So it's really, really difficult out there to really kind of gauge the conditions. But this is probably the most fun kind of session you can have.
Yeah. You've got a long relationship with Mercedes-Benz. It's a pretty special one. What does Mercedes-Benz mean to you?
Do you know how long it is?
I don't actually.
No. So
you can.
I
should.
Yeah, I joined Mercedes. I've been part of Mercedes family since I was 13.
Wow.
So a long, long time. And I actually started driving Mercedes engines, I think, when I was 18. I think I was 18. 19 maybe, in Formula 3.
Yep.
And, well, I mean, everyone grew up wanting a Mercedes, for sure. The same as me. I grew up seeing them on the road and seeing this iconic brand, these iconic cars driving around, and it's kind of strange now when I go to Stuttgart or wherever I am in the world, knowing that I represent that brand. It's quite a privilege.
What model are you driving at the moment, road car? Mercedes?
A smart car.
A smart?
Yeah. At home I have a smart electric. It's really bad because people are like, because you're a racing driver, you're going to have like which I mean, of course I have some really cool cars, but I'm really like driving the electric car around Monaco because it's easy to park. If someone bumps into it, I don't mind.
So what? Yeah.
You just change the panel.
Yeah.
Because it's plastic. But no, I mean I have an SL Black Series. I have the GT. My favorite one right now is the Maybach.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a bit like this, white S-Class out the front.
Yeah,
there.
and there's
but
one.
I've got it at the Maybach in pearl white.
Yeah,
which is
nice.
Amazing. Yeah.
Pretty much, you're active on social media, and I love that Roscoe and Coco, your dogs, feature very
now
prominently.
You remind me, I'm going to have to do some Snapchatting, won't I?
Yeah. Are they with you? You didn't do a Johnny Depp and smuggle them in?
Say hi, everyone. Say hi.
Hey.
Just chatting to everyone here.
So you didn't bring them with you?
It's a bloody long way to bring two dogs.
Didn't stop someone else.
Who?
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp brought his dogs?
Yeah, he smuggled them in and hid them at Mick Doohan's house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jeez. He must have flown private here. Yeah, but he came from LA.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
13 hours.
It's only 13 hours.
Yeah, they don't mind 13 hours, 15 hours. They sleep the whole way. But they'll be pooing and stuff on the plane, and after that,
wouldn't be great. Winning your third title last year, how different did that feel from winning your first title?
I think the first one was difficult for me because the previous year I lost it by 1 point. So I was kind of still traumatized from that because it was a horrible experience. Just losing it by 1 point in the last race after such a pressurized season, and then Formula One never sleeps; it just keeps going. Even though you get that break, you start training. You've got to start getting your mind back into the next year. it's hard to comprehend just how hard it is just to get back in the zone. And then that year, 2008, I had basically lost it to the last corner. And it wasn't that I lost it. I mean, we made a mistake with the tire pressures. The tires went off. I had Sebastian right in front of me, and for the life of me, I could not close. It just stayed like 2 meters, or whatever the gap was. And came across the line. I didn't think I had it. Then I won it. So just like I was a complete mess. I didn't get to enjoy it. Winning the first with Mercedes in 2014. That was an amazing feeling. Just after a real relief after so many years of ups and downs, and I was able to enjoy it more. I guess just by being older, having more of an experience of life, I got to enjoy it more. And then last year, I enjoyed it even more. Just let loose and kind of not a care in the world, just to enjoy and embrace what my family and I have worked for, because it's 23 years.
Long journey.
We've been racing, yeah.
Long journey. What do you do to prepare yourself mentally for the season, but specifically, what do you do in those couple of hours before the race? Is it, private time, you're on your own, you're with friends, you're with the team? What do you do to prepare?
Well, firstly, before the race, we don't have a lot of time. So, for example, last night, I'm studying, trying to, because we have no radio communication now, so there's all these things you have to remember, all these sequences, we have all these different files that we have to read. For example, understanding fuel usage, understanding lift and coast, understanding what engine strategies we need to be using, because we can use what we, as and when we please, we can change them on our own, but to manage our engine, because it's got to last 4, 5 races. So just all these documents and all these different switch controls, because we have pretty much an iPad or a laptop pretty much in front of us, and you can, all these different switches and buttons you press can alter the way the car's performing and to make sure you see it to the end of the race. So just studying those so I know what I need to do through the race. And before the race, we have strategy in the morning. Then I have about an hour with my engineers, and after that I sit and just make notes of my plan, my mission, and that can be a page, 2 pages, whatever it is, and then I get rid of the book because I've written it down, so I remember everything I've written. Put that aside, and then I have a few appearances in the morning, and then you have the driver's parade, and then you have half an hour, and then you're in the car. So that half an hour, I just get back to my room, put some music on, chill. I might watch a comedy. I don't want to think about what I've got to go and do. It's not like I don't know what I'm doing. I've been racing a long time, so it's not something you have to dwell on or think too much about. You kind of just have to chill and be as cool as you can.
I get that. So, how's the testing been with the car? And this weekend, Albert Park's a pretty special track. How's the car feel? And what's actually your favourite part of the Albert Park track?
Well, testing went really well. We have, every year they reduce the amount of testing we have. So, my first year, I think I had, in December 2006, I had like 6 days. Then I had another, about 14 or something on the pre-season for 2007. And then, now we only had 4 days in the car this winter. And then you arrive, and then, for example, yesterday you go out and do 1 lap, and then you have to kind of be on it already. But it is a great circuit. It's really a fantastic circuit. It's definitely the best one to start the season out on. Generally, because usually the weather is better than this, and I like street circuits. I like tracks that don't have too big a runoff areas. This is bumpy. Has the track's not just completely flat. If you make a mistake and go off, you generally pay the price, which is how it should be. As where a lot of the other tracks, particularly, it's easier for the young ones that come on. They can just go out, run off wide, and come back on. And I hate that. Back in the day when you see. Nicky's time and Senna's time, you put, it's all about the final being on the edge and just the tip over the edge, and you spin or you're off in the gravel, whatever it is, and that's how it should be. That's why it's so exciting to get to the edge. But here you have that because you just break a meter too late in turn 6, you're in the gravel, and the gravel doesn't stop you. You just end up in the wall.
Yes.
And that is how it's not that I want that anyone should get injured or anything like that, but you should pay for your mistakes in pushing too far over the limit. So my favorite part of the circuit, probably turn 3 down to 6. Okay, so the mid sector. Yep. I just kind of like that, particularly because the wind is at you in different ways, It's really quite gusty here. So, for example, turn 3, you can have a headwind, means you can brake later. If you have a tailwind, it means you have to brake earlier. And you have to understand those things. So when you look on the map, you just have a map, and it shows you where the wind's pointing, and you have to apply that to all the corners. It's really weird.
Okay.
So, for example, last year I had a really good qualifying, 6/10 ahead. It seems like no one else realized the wind was changing in direction. So I was braking early for turn 1, everyone was going off. Then I could brake late for turn 2, and everyone was kind of braking, people were braking earlier. And then turn 9, for example, was massive headwind, so you can brake at like 60 meters. It's just crazy. And then other laps, you can't do that. You have to brake at 100 meters. So it's that's what I like about it, because the characteristics of the track are always changing.
It's it is, being a street circuit, it's unusual in that people obviously drive it, but there's some pretty tough drivers that you're up against this weekend. Who do you think is going to be your biggest challenger on race day?
It's still really unknown. We would hope yesterday would be a dry day, so we'd have a better understanding of where everyone was. On the Friday, it's all about running. Generally, we're all running similar fuel, and you get the long runs, so you get an idea of how people's long runs are. We have no info at all. So today, hopefully, it'll be dry, and you'll see people go out, probably like us, we'll go out and we'll just do a long run to get an understanding of how the tyres are going to behave after 10 laps, and fuel and all those kind of things, with car being heavy. And then we had to do a couple of kind of qualifying low fuel kind of runs towards the end. And so you'll get a better idea, gauge of where we all stand. But then the weather's supposed to be up and down today as well. So I can't tell you how difficult it is in those conditions. These tires, they work in a window. So we heat them up to like 110 degrees. And so when you come out the garage, take the blankets off, come out the garage, by the end you get to the end of the pit lane, they've already dropped to like 90. They just drop through the air blowing them. And so we've got to try and keep that temperature up. And by the start the first time lap, you have to get them up to 115, 120. And if when it's wet and it's damp, if it just breaks out of that window between 105, 115, for example, they just don't work. They just switch off. And we have so much power, so you're accelerating and it just snaps away from you. And it's sometimes just impossible to catch it, as you saw some people yesterday.
Yes. Look, we know you've got to go. We know you're going to, tomorrow we're all going to be cheering for you. Give us a bit of a wave when you come past.
You guys have a great view here.
If you get a chance, well, we think it's the best part of the circuit here, the best facility. So.
Well, this corner's freaking awesome.
It is,
if you knew the speed we went through there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see it, but
we sometimes think the car's going to come in and join us, but don't do that.
It's quite unbelievable. It's like a fighter jet going through those corners, It's very cool.
So look, thanks for your time. We really appreciate it. Wish you the best for tomorrow, and once again, thanks for coming over.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Enjoy your weekend, guys.